Jailbreak plugin for Construct 3 is an add-on that allows you to get the internal runtime of the Construct engine, also known as the SDK version 1 runtime. In this video, we'll check how we can get this internal runtime ourselves without the need of Jailbreak. But first, let's see what Jailbreak does. Jailbreak can be downloaded from the Construct add-on exchange directly or from its itch.io page, where you'll get some more information about Jailbreak. After installing it, all you need to do is add it in your Construct project. Now, if we add a script, we can access the plugin object, and from it, we can access what the plugin calls the real runtime, which is the SDK version 1 runtime. So let's do that. Let's save the real runtime in a variable, and let's log it onto the console. If we preview the project and open our browser console, we will see the runtime being logged. And we can see it's indeed the c3.runtime instance class from the SDK version 1. But what we could do with it? Well, you could, for example, access the data from an array directly or any object you want without the API restrictions from Syrah. You could also require Jailbreak inside an add-on you're porting from SDK v1. I actually made a tutorial for that already, so be sure to check it out. So, to make the point clear, let's add an array object, and let's try to access it from the real runtime. We can do so by its object type name. Now, if we preview our project, we can see all the things the array actually has. With this, we could actually change the array data or replace it, something you can't actually do with SDK v2. Now let's learn how to actually get this runtime without any plugin, and what's the logic behind it. Syrah has said much about encapsulation, but the reality is that encapsulation in JavaScript is not only impossible, but against the nature of the language. To learn how to break the SDK v2 encapsulation, let's first check a public code snippet from masterpose in GitHub. Let's go to the getRuntime.ts script and copy it. Then let's create a script to paste it on our project. The nature of what we are going to do is basically hijack the boot process of the engine. Hijacking this process, we can save whatever thing gets created from it. The thing being the runtime, of course. This code snippet does a lot of stuff that's not necessary for us, but allows a proper hijacking of the runtime if we were to include this in an add-on. But for now, let's just focus on this specific part. So let's copy it on our main.ts. Since the snippet tries to access hidden stuff from the global context of Construct, the editor will throw errors if you're using TypeScript. So I'll disable those using the special TypeScript @ts-nocheck comment. Now I'm actually going to clean up further the snippet and leave only the interesting part of it. Construct has a secret function called c3_create_runtime. This global function boots the runtime engine. So what we are going to do is to first save this global function in a constant, which we'll call old function. Now, let's replace this c3_create runtime function with our own. We will take any args Construct passes this function, and then inside our own function, we will call the original function we saved before. The return value from c3_create runtime is, as you could imagine, the real internal runtime, aka the SDK version 1 runtime. So if we save the return value, we now have access to the real runtime. It is that easy. Let's test it by previewing and checking our console.log and see if we get access to the same array. So as mentioned, if you use the snippet, you'll get some benefits. So let's use that instead. Let's delete our manual hijacking and import the getRuntime function from the snippet. This will return us also the real runtime. If we preview our project, we'll see it. So now, in total, you have 3 ways of accessing the internal runtime. You either use the Jailbreak plugin, you use the snippet available at the masterpose's code snippets repository, or you manually hijack the boot process. I recommend you use the Jailbreak plugin, of course, since I'll take care if Syrah changes something to block this current way of getting access to the runtime.
JavaScript is a flexible programming language, and Sarah is trying to go against its nature, so I'll keep finding ways to break their encapsulation no matter how hard they try. But anyways, that's about it. I'll be submitting videos of porting some other add-ons using this method, so be sure to check the channel. Have a good day. Luan Himmlish out!